Kenner, the Kiwanis Club, will you please come to the
Rotary
Club, will you please come to the podium? And Councilman Impastato, can you go to the podium?
How you like that? We all have checks.
We all have checks.
Good.
You want to put that down there?
No, I just put it out the way. And then we'll take a picture after. All right, you ready?
We're ready.
All right, guys. On today's agenda, 15G is for outdoor fitness equipment that's going to be going to Kenner's City Park. So it's over $66,000 of exercise equipment that's going to cost the city of Kenner $0, thanks to the Kenner Rotary and Councilman Dominic Impastato. So I know they all raring to make some comments, but I'd like to publicly thank them all. We have Christina Wilson and Matthew Person here from Kenner Rotary, and then Dominic Impastato will say some kind words. And we'll be asking him for more money too. So.
We just want to say thank you for the opportunity to bring something that is within Jefferson Parish, but not here in the city of Kenner. So when we want to have exercise equipment, we can go to Lafreniere Park, which is a beautiful park, but it's going to be really nice to just go here in the local proximity and utilize some space that we have here in the city. We want to really thank Dominic for his support and helping us get to the level that we needed to get to do it. We are a smaller club, and we're small but mighty, and so our funds, we like to try and get our funds to do the most impactful thing. So we appreciate it from the bottom of our hearts, and as well as all of our members and anyone we help in the community. So without further ado, I'd like to say personally thank you to Dominic for supporting us as well.
No, thank all of y'all, Mayor Glazer, Councilman Brennan, because this is in District 5, and Christina and the Rotary Club. They came to us a few months back, actually more than that, probably a year ago, with wanting to take on a project in Kenner City Park, and said, look, we have a need in Kenner City Park for we think, exercise equipment, much like we have in Lafreniere Park, and I'm proud to say that we built that with District 4 funds in Lafreniere as well. I want to go on a soapbox for a minute that I've said recently in public, but I think it bears noting again. One of the common comments that I know each of our 7 council members, the mayor, the chief of police, and the administrators get from Kenner constituents is, you know, why does JPRD have X? Why do the Jefferson Parish parks or playgrounds have certain things that maybe our Kenner parks don't have? And I think it's important and critical for people to understand how Herculean the effort is by the Kenner government to provide the services that are provided by the city of Kenner when compared to other governments and other municipalities. The city of Kenner is the lowest taxed government in Jefferson Parish, okay? Maybe some of the cities might be slightly better than us, but I can tell you right now, a Kenner resident pays far less in property taxes than a Metairie resident. People don't generally understand that. They think I get 2 tax bills, so therefore I'm paying double the taxes. That is completely incorrect. A Metairie resident pays, and this is why this matters to this, a Metairie resident pays for recreation taxes alone, recreation property taxes, almost 2/3 of what we as Kenner residents pay for all government services and property taxes. That is a staggering statistic, okay? A Kenner resident pays less in almost all total property taxes than a Metairie resident pays for fire protection alone, okay? So the thought that I do need to shut up. But what that means is when people say, why does my playground in Kenner not have X? Why does Kenner City Park not have this amenity that Lafreniere Park has? The easy answer is because a funding mechanism is not in place to provide those services nearly as easily. So basically, we in the city of Kenner and these Kenner elected officials have to struggle, fight, and scratch to make sure that the services in the city of Kenner are provided. And I got to say, as long as I've been in elected office since 2014 through today, despite lots of struggles, the Kenner city government has provided those services, sometimes under certain administrations not as well as others, but thankfully we've righted that ship in the last 2 years. But the fact is, it is a difficult task to provide simple things like tot lots, like fitness equipment, like covers over playground equipment, say at Woodlake Playground, purely hypothetically, Councilman Brennan. But it's not as easy as a Jefferson Parish councilman has. And so it takes creativity, it takes fighting for resources. I'm proud to say in District 4 we've provided those resources whenever humanly possible. But when I was approached by the Rotary Club, I said the best way to do this, the best way for Kenner facilities to get what they need is through public-private partnerships. We need the citizens engaged, we need everyone to have skin in the game. Natalie Newton from the administration was intimately involved in helping us make this happen from the city side as well. We got all legs of the stool working together. Thankfully, we had a little bit of money left in BP money that was given to District 4 some years ago. I will tell you that $56,000 number was not an accidental number. It is the last of the BP money that was available for District 4, and we gave it to the city of Kenner. I understand there was a question at the last council meeting, or one of the last ones, about why can't we get Councilman Impastato to get some of that federal money, federal ARPA money, back to the city of Kenner. I want to make sure that's clear. We've got roughly $3 million committed to Kenner recreational facilities out of federal ARPA money. We're giving the remainder of the BP money from District 4 in Jefferson Parish to the city of Kenner to improve this facility. So I can assure you, whatever resources we have, we're doing anything and everything we can to provide those resources within the city of Kenner. And I've given presentations before that show the roughly somewhere in the neighborhood of $100 million worth of projects that are funded by Jefferson Parish related sources for work that's being done in the city of Kenner. So we've done a good job so far, and we're going to keep doing a good job as we go forward. So with that, I want to thank you guys, because and you know, I think what Ms. Wilson said bears noting. They're not a club with 200 members or 300 members where they can just pass a basket, $5 a piece, and generate $10,000. To generate $10,000 like that is an absolute mammoth of a task for them, and they worked very, very hard to do that. You know, none of them getting paid, all volunteers, and rest assured, the best part about that is I know they will be out at that park looking at the finished product, making sure it stays up to the standards that we expect as Kenner residents, and holding all of our feet to the fire in government. So thank you guys for the sacrifice, for the service you continue to do. I'm proud to work with you guys. We'll continue to work with you guys. My fellow council members, colleagues, chief, mayor, thank y'all for everything you've done, and for allowing us to present you guys a check today.
And we're going to take photographs with big checks. Dominic is $56,809.76, and the Kenner Rotary is $10,700.
Starting the meeting in 1 minute. We're calling the council meeting to order. Do we have any special intentions today? Councilmember Lahat?
Yes, the family of Tulio Marullo. I went to his funeral a little while ago at St. Anne Parish. His daughter, Brenda, and my son Dan go to school together. As you know, he died unexpectedly about 2 weeks ago. He was a great Kenner businessman. I didn't know him that long, but I enjoyed my conversations with him. Great member of the Kenner Business Association, and did a lot of things in Kenner for the city and for the parish. So bless Murillo family. I hope they get through this okay, and God bless his wife and children.
Councilmember Shawworth?
Thank you, Mr. President. Also, I have some friends that have passed away within the last couple of weeks myself. I'll give my condolences to the families of Jefferson Parish Fire Department retired District Chief Ernie Poche, who passed away on June the 2nd, and also Suzanne Miller, AKA Mama Smurf, who passed away on June 3rd, and also Tulio Murillo's family as well. Thank you.
Mayor Glazer?
And 2 meetings ago, I asked for prayers for one of our employees, Mr. Jason DeBarbaries. Unfortunately, he passed away yesterday, so please keep his children and family in your prayers.
And I asked to say a prayer for my mom. Today would have been my dad's 87th birthday. It's the first time since he passed, so she's having a tough day this weekend. Pastor David Madden, can you come to the podium to lead us in prayer? I just want to thank you for being rock solid in our community. Everything that your church does, just incredible. And we appreciate everything that y'all do.
Thank you, sir. Let's pray. Father, we thank you for our time together. And we do lift up all the requests, so many people hurting and grieving. Your word says that you comfort us in our time of need with the comfort that comes from your spirit. So we just pray comfort for the family members, the spouses, the children. And would you be near to the brokenhearted and bind up their wounds, as your word says, God. And we do thank you for our time today. We thank you for the great leadership that we have here in the city of Kenner. We pray you'd bless every one of these incredible public servants, bless their families, and give them continued wisdom and strength as they serve our community. Bless our time. We thank you for your wisdom and your provision. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Pastor Madden. Deputy CAO Amy Vallow, will you lead us in a pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
Council Clerk?
Good morning. You guys have a quorum this morning. In accordance with Council Resolution Number B14550, please be advised that all cellular telephones and other devices of this nature must be deactivated or silenced throughout the council meeting. Next, we have correspondence, reports from the mayor, CAO, or department heads.
Mayor Glazer?
Thank you. Just a couple tidbits here. Restore Louisiana. A couple of weeks ago, we said they were holding their last in-person service center at our senior center. Due to the overwhelming response, they have another one coming up, June 29th at the MLK Resource Center from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. So it's an in-person, anyone needs help. It's grants that provide funding to homeowners that were affected by hurricanes. So they actually having another one here due to Kenner's, the amount of people that came out. We just, on request of the owners of Sylvester's Western Wear, we just attended a ribbon cutting. So they're actually opening today. They opened early today. After we left, they said they're just going to open up. They have entertainment today from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. I think 5 o'clock is Rockin' Doopsie will be out in the parking lot performing. So it's a little hot, so I encourage everyone to attend, but dress appropriately. And I would like to commend the city attorney's office. Since we hired a few people back, they total collections of unpaid leases that weren't being collected here in the city of Kenner to date totals $119,152.20. It's leases for right-of-ways, Tin Roof Boutique, Gillette Tires, and the Rivertown Optical leases. So that's money that was just left on the table, and we went back and collected on our leases. So I think that's all. We're going to try this one more time. This is going to be the last meeting for Mike Power. He guarantees this is his last one. But we're still going to try. We're still going to try. I got a couple more days. That's it.
And we're not clapping because it's your last meeting. Council Clerk?
We've received a request for one meeting deferral on the executive session for DANKS versus Philip Grayson et al., case number 2:21-CV-1806.
We have a motion by Councilman Brannigan, second by Councilman Brandon for a one meeting deferral. Council members in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed say nay.
Motion passes 7-0. Do we have any resolutions, motions, or other items from the floor? Seeing none, under the consent agenda, we have item 1, approval of minutes, the regular council meeting of June 1st, 2023. Item 2 is approval of alcoholic beverage permit applications. We have none. Item 3 is approval of bingo and public gathering applications. Item 3A is application number 2338-23, Rejoice Incorporated, to hold a public gathering on June 17, 2023, from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. for the purpose of a Juneteenth festival/fest. And please note that this event will be moved to the Susan Park Gymnasium at 502 Veterans Boulevard in Kenner, Louisiana. Item 3B is application number 2339-23, First Baptist Church of Kenner, to hold a public gathering on June 20th through the 22nd, 2023, from 8 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. for the purpose of a vacation Bible school at 1313 Clay Street in Kenner, Louisiana. Item 3C is application number 2341-23, Boots and Saddles, doing business as Sylvester's Western Wear, to hold a public gathering on June 16, 2023, from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. for the purpose of a grand opening at 2600 Williams Boulevard in Kenner, Louisiana. And that will conclude the consent agenda.
I have a motion by Councilmember McKinney, second by Councilmember Wilmot. Council members in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Under the public appearance agenda, we have item 8, public hearings and final passage. We have none. Item 9 is ordinances for the sale, purchase, transfer, lease, and/or alienation of a movable property. We have none. Item 10 is opening of bids. We have none. Item 11 is reclassification of zoning for final passage. We have none. Item 12 is other ordinances for final passage. Item 12A is summary ordinance number 13,227, an ordinance repealing resolution number B17293 adopted October 6, 2022, and implementing requirements for the approval of the settlement of lawsuits against the city of Kenner.
We have a motion by Councilmember Wilmot, second by Councilmember Brennan. Councilmember Wilmot.
Thank you, Mr. President. This legislation regards our current settlement of lawsuits, and I believe that what we have now needs to be modified. This has been lingering on for a few council meetings. Some council members appear to either be confused by it or just simply uncomfortable with it, and that's item 12A. As a result, it's like, again, it's been deferred a few times, one meeting deferrals. In looking at the parish council rules, however, I had our legal department assist me in drafting similar rules to what the parish already has in place. I believe that this body might be more inclined to support that. It's the sole item on the supplemental agenda today, so it'll be heard at the next council meeting. But for the pending item 12A on the current agenda, I hereby ask that it be indefinitely deferred. Thank you.
Deferral.
Council members in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 12B is summary ordinance number 13,297, an ordinance prohibiting cell phones, cameras, or other devices capable of recording audio or video in the mayor's court building.
We have a motion by Councilmember McKinney, second by Councilmember Wilmot. Any comments? Mr. Brown, you have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. President. I've got a couple of concerns about this ordinance, and I want to apologize to the new city attorney for not having contacted her in advance about this, but I just have 2 concerns with it. First, it's pretty broad. It prohibits cameras, cell phones, et cetera, in the city court building. I don't even know where that building is now, but I think it should contain a provision that says, except as may be permitted by the magistrate or the clerk of court, because it's an outright prohibition. The way it's written, even the magistrate or the clerk of court cannot give permission for a camera. And I would suggest that a provision be added that just simply says, except as may be authorized by the magistrate or the clerk of court. And one other concern is that the actual ordinance says that, Section 1, that cell phones, cameras, or any other devices capable of recording audio or video are prohibited in the mayor's court building. I would think that the purpose is also to prohibit photographs, but the way this ordinance is written, only video is prohibited. You can take all the still photographs you want to. I think that maybe that provision should be added. So I suggest that this either be amended today or that it be deferred for one meeting just to clean it up. I have no objection, no problem with the purpose. It's just with the details of it as drafted.
Al Morella, 4260 East Loyola Drive, 5th District, 51 years. I want to direct this to Mike Power. Doesn't the law say right now that in a court, I don't know if the magistrate court is a little different, that the judge can either prohibit recordings or allow it? Am I correct on that, Mr. Power?
As a general rule, yes, a judge can change that. I would point out, though, that this ordinance basically copies an ordinance that's been in effect at First Parish Court for a long, long time. you are not allowed to bring any device into the building, much less the courtroom.
Okay, but this is not in conflict with the way the law reads, that the judge has the sole discretion presiding over the court to allow it or disallow it?
I would assume that the judge would have that authority, yes.
So this sort of, to me, it looks like it could be a conflict, some kind of conflict.
No, sir, I don't believe it's a conflict. It's a general rule for the building when the court is in session.
I understand that too, but the judge still has the sole discretion. Now, one other thing, I want to direct this to you, Chief. I don't know if anybody has seen this or not. It's all over social media. They got an individual that came into our city and called the Long Island Audit. Some of our officers, I'm not going to mention their names, is on video telling him to get out of the building. There could be litigation coming behind all of this. It looks like a setup to me. It looks like this guy was sent from somewhere up north or wherever. And, well, Long Island, that's New York. And they got enough problems of their own over there. I mean, they're out of control over there. So, third world country, New York City. And I think this guy was sent down here to disrupt and to discredit our police department. And you want to elaborate on that, Chief?
Yeah, again, you're very perceptive. This guy's what they call a internet or social media influencer. He's got so many visitors, followers, and he gets paid by sponsorships. I think the officers handled the situation accordingly. We are reviewing it because we did receive a complaint, so I can't really discuss much about it. Right. But you know, I know there are also blogs and social media pages about this guy, the instigator, that aren't too flattering. So, you know, I'm concerned with social media and the direction it's taken with misinformation and false allegations and things of that nature, and unfortunately, that's just the nature of the beast today. But I appreciate your support of the police department. You know, my problem with these videos is they're edited, manipulated, and they're thrown up online to cast the light that the individual wants to put on the agency. And it's not just us, it's across the country. Mm-hmm. This has become a career for some of these people. But I appreciate your support.
And I got some time left, Councilman Brannigan?
Yeah, you got about 30 seconds.
Oh, that's plenty of time. I also want to say this, okay? The way the Department of Justice in our country has been weaponized, the collaboration between the corruption in that department and the media, social media, ruination of this country as far as I'm concerned, okay? This is disgraceful, and if I can tell you something, if I ever see anybody like that around here, or they ever cross my path, I'll guarantee you I'm gonna unload on them. Not physically, intellectually. Anybody got any comments, any questions?
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Morrell.
you.
Mayor Glazer?
Yes, when they came to me and asked for this, we got with the magistrates in Mayor's Court, the clerk of court, and I said, well, it sounds like the same thing First Parish Court has, it's the entire building. So I said they modeled it pretty much word for word with what's at First Parish Court now. Mr. Richard Brown, I think section 1, it says that cell phones, cameras, I think cameras is going to have still or video. I think just the word cameras is going to work. So I don't think that needs to be amended at all. And currently, it's the Louisiana Supreme Court that has the prohibition of cameras in courtrooms. So this just kind of puts an ordinance on top of their prohibition of cameras in courtrooms. Okay. I think that's it.
Okay, any other comments? Council members in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 13 is resolutions and motions by council members. Item 13A is a resolution authorizing a settlement in the lawsuit entitled DANKS versus PHILLIP Grayson et al., case number 2:21-CV-1806. Mr. Chairman, we've received a request for a one-meeting deferral on this item.
Motion by Councilmember Brannigan, second by Councilmember Brennan for a one-meeting deferral. Council members in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Say nay. Opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 13B is a resolution electing a Kenner City Council President and Vice President effective July 1st, 2023.
Got a motion by Councilmember McKinney, second by Councilmember Brannigan. Any comments? Council members in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 13C is a resolution ratifying the appointment of Michelle H. Dufresne as City Attorney for the City of Kenner.
Got a motion by Councilmember Brennan, second by Councilmember McKinney. Any comments? Anyone want to comment? Council members in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion
I wanted to vote
passes.
maybe. I didn't,
Didn't know this
You're a little red in the face
Yeah.
right now.
didn't know this council had such a humor, sense of humor. Thank you all. I appreciate it. I want to thank the mayor, the council. Look forward to work with you all. Been very fortunate to work with Mike Power. If I just retain half of what he's taught me the last year, I'll be doing very well. And of course, my staff, who anything I don't know, they seem to know, so I have a good guidance. And the administration, looking forward to the next process and the next going forward. And of course, my husband, who's here. So when I said, "What do you think about me going to work for the city attorney's office?" Okay, so here I am. So, thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Mayor Glazer.
And she's a Kenner resident, which is kind of, trying to keep these directors living in the city of Kenner. So that's happy to say that she's a Kenner resident.
Thank you, Mayor Glazer.
Just for the record, what I taught her last year took about 20 minutes one afternoon.
Okay. I'm sure she's got you on speed dial. Police Chief Conlon.
Yeah, I just want to say in 2007, I was appointed as city attorney, and Mike Power was my mentor as well. He was my go-to guy because he had done that work for probably 20, 30 years before when he created the first city charter, I think. But I just want to thank him for tutoring me, being my mentor. He's mentored a bunch of us now, including Michelle, so he's kind of always going to be the grandfather of the city attorney's office, maybe the great-grandfather by the end of the term, but I just want to thank him for everything he's done for me in my career.
Thank you. Anyone else? Council Clerk?
Item 13D is a resolution temporarily suspending Council Rule Number 11 of the Rules of Organization, Business, Order, and Procedure of the Council of the City of Kenner and rescheduling the Kenner City Council agenda deadline to Friday, June 30th, 2023 at noon for the council meeting of July 6, 2023 due to the Independence Day holiday.
Got a motion by Councilmember Shorwath, second by Councilmember Wilmot. Any comments? Mayor Glazer.
This is needed because following the governor's lead, making Monday, July 3rd, a city holiday. So city offices will be closed the 3rd and the 4th of July. And this legislation is needed for the deadlines for for y'all to get your stuff in Friday.
Thank you, Mayor Glazer. Council members in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 14 is items removed from the consent agenda. We have none. Item 15 is acceptance of contracts and similar matters approved by the mayor. Item 15A is summary ordinance number 13,280. An ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Batco Construction and Maintenance Incorporated to furnish and install 3 automatic gates at City Hall, Building D, 1610 Reverend Richard Wilson Drive, Kenner, Louisiana, in accordance with sealed bid number 23-6761 in the amount of $37,572 for the Department of General Services.
I have a motion by Councilmember Dunn, second by Councilmember Wilmot. Any comments? The only comment I have is the owners of this company are clients, so I have to abstain from this vote. Council members in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay.
Motion passes 6-0. Councilmember Brannigan is abstaining. Item 15B is summary ordinance number 13,281, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Safety Zone Holdings Incorporated, doing business as Safety Zone Specialist, to purchase delineators and accessories in accordance with letter bid 23-2074 in the amount of $8,788.50 for the Department of General Services.
We have a motion by Councilmember Brannigan, second by Councilmember Lahat. Do we have any comments on this item? This item is being purchased. It's a District 4 issue. When you're going down West Esplanade heading west, you get into the turning lane in front of Walgreens and Five Guys. That to turn, either take a U-turn or turn into the parking lot. The problem we were having is someone in the driving lane to the right of the turning lane was going down, speeding, and cutting in to turn into the parking lot. And I've got many complaints on this, so we put those the little cone things up and to deter that. Mayor Glazer?
And I'd like to thank you for paying for it.
How much money do I have, Liz? Council members in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15C is summary ordinance number 13,282, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Romelli Janitorial Service Incorporated to provide grass cutting of rough cut areas, ditch slopes, in accordance with sealed bid number 23-6764, and an amount not to exceed $55,000 annually for the Department of Field Services.
I have a motion by Councilmember Dunn, second by Councilmember Lahat. Any comments? Mr. Morella, you have 3 minutes.
Al Morella, 4260 East Loyola Drive, 5th District, 51 years. Who has the contract now to do this grass cutting? Is this a renewal of a contract for Romelli, or does H&O have it?
This is a new contract.
It's a new contract. Who has it now? Is it H&O? No one? Okay, okay. But while I'm on this subject, okay, because I know H&O does cut grass for the city of Kenner. I mentioned this a couple of meetings ago. I talked to the head guy over at H&O, why they were operating with vehicles back here with no name on it, no LCC numbers, no permit numbers listed on the truck. And I asked this question to Mr. Power, if that's a regulation, if that's mandatory, that they have an identification on the vehicle operating in the city of Kenner with the LWCC.
Mr. Brown, I'd like to call a point of order. This has nothing to do with the legislation we're voting on.
Well, they do grass cutting for the city of Kenner. That's why I'm asking this. And this is about grass cutting in the city of Kenner.
It has nothing to do with what we're voting on.
Okay.
Well, that's okay.
Okay, Councilmember Brennan.
That's okay. Time's on my side, Councilman Brandon.
Mr. Morales.
Time's on my side. Thank you.
Council members in favor say aye. Oh, Councilmember Dunn, I'm sorry.
Yes, I did speak with him about the grass cutting of the ditches, because this is a big issue in my district since I've been on the council. And I noticed, you know, some of the ditches are not being maintained. So I asked him if he would assure that he would give me some type of timeline or whatever, because I'm going to be out there really looking at what's going on with the ditches in the area. So can you comment a little bit on that?
Yes, ma'am. This is a new contract. H&O does flat work. This is a contract for slope mower work. It's a rough cut. This contract consists of 26 ditches along the railroad tracks in South Kenner that, due to our staff shortages, we need help with in public works. So this contract, in addition to our spray contract, and our few in-house people that we will still be doing some of the grass cutting. This is our plan to keep South Kenner ditches, you know, looking good and working. In addition, I have a superintendent who monitors these 3 contracts, and when he monitors them, he checks the ditches for trash and debris. So all of this is being handled, you know, but this contract's needed because we don't have the people to do it.
Thank you, and I pray that the council will vote with me on this because it's a very needed contract in my district. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Any other comments? Council members in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15D is summary ordinance number 13,283, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Pavement Markings LLC to furnish, install, and remove thermoplastic pavement markings in accordance with seal bid number 23-6766 and an amount not to exceed $250,000 annually for the Department of Field Services.
Have a motion by Councilmember Shorwath, second by Councilmember McKinney. Any comments on this item? Council members in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15E is summary ordinance number 13,284, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received to purchase standpipe kits and accessories in accordance with letter bid 23-6767 for the City of Kenner Fire Department.
I have a motion by Councilmember Brennan, second by Councilmember McKinney. Any comments? Fire Chief, can you tell us what this item is?
This is a high-rise, it's called a high-rise pack, and it is one for each one of our apparatus, which we have to keep all of our front line and backup apparatus equipped with all the identical equipment. And this particular item is several components of what's called a high-rise kit. So when we make those fires in large buildings, the hotels and stuff down here, there's an outside connection for the fire truck to connect to, and there's a pipe that runs up the stairwell. If you stayed and been in high-rise buildings or hotels, that piping system is the fire department connection where we connect to, like we had a fire on the 5th floor of one of the hotels, we connect to the piping system in the stairwell. And that's the hoses and tubes and nozzles and the things we need to make that connection inside of a stairwell to fight a fire on a elevated structure.
Okay, thank you, Chief. And basically, it's just keeping our fire trucks up to the latest equipment that we need to fight a fire.
Yes, because some of this equipment hadn't been replaced in over 20 years, 25 years, but you know, with the rating coming up, we need to replace a lot of this older equipment and put new equipment on.
Okay. Any other comments? Council members in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Passes 7-0. Item 15F is summary ordinance number 13,285, an ordinance approving amendment number 9 to the agreement with ASM Global, formerly known as SMG, for management services for the Pontchartrain Convention and Civic Center to extend the agreement through December 31st, 2023.
We have a motion by Councilmember Lahat, second by Councilmember McKinney. Any comments on this item?
Mr. Chairman, we've received a request from the administration to amend this item to change the date in the throughout the document to June 30th, 2024.
Okay, so on the amendment, we have a motion by Councilmember Lahat, second by Councilmember McKinney on the amendment. Any comments on the amendment?
Yes.
Councilmember Lahat?
Was it extending it to a year? That's what y'all want to do? Okay. That's fine.
Okay, on the amendment, council members in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0 on the amendment.
On the legislation, council members in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15G is summary ordinance number 13,286, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Han Enterprises Incorporated to furnish and install outdoor fitness equipment at Kenner City Park in accordance with sealed bid 23-6757 in the amount of $66,381 for the Department of General Services.
Got a motion by Councilmember Brennan, second by Councilmember McKinney. Any comments? Council members in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15H is summary ordinance number 13,287, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Trantex Transportation Products of Texas Incorporated to supply sign poles and miscellaneous supplies as needed in accordance with sealed bid 23-6765 and an amount not to exceed $40,000 annually for the Department of General Services.
Got a motion by Councilmember Brennan, second by Councilmember Wilmot. Any comments on this item? Councilmember McKinney?
Yes, I just have a point of or clarification question. How much, excuse me, how much has been previously spent on this contract, or is this a new contract?
It's not a new contract, but we haven't spent anything this past year for these items.
Okay, and how much did we spend? When was the last time we spent, and how much was that spent?
Let me see real quick. I think we spent about $12,000 the last time we had the contract.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments? Council members in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15I is summary ordinance number 13,288, an ordinance approving the group life insurance and AD&D coverage for the City of Kenner employees, retirees, dependents for the fiscal year July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024 with the Standard Insurance Company.
Got a motion by Councilmember Wilmot, second by Councilmember Brannigan. Any comments on this item? Council members in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15J is summary ordinance number 13,289, an ordinance approving amendment number 6 to the agreement with Rahman and Associates Incorporated to add additional work and funds.
Got a motion by Councilmember Lahat, second by Councilmember Dunn. Any comments? Council members and Councilmember Dunn.
Yeah, I didn't see a dollar amount on this. Or did I miss it?
The dollar amount, yes, the dollar amount is $34,120. And what we're doing with this item is the original agreement with the consultant only has sufficient funds for part-time resident inspection services. I feel like on this project, we're gonna need full-time resident inspection services. Therefore, we have to increase the cost for resident inspection services in the amount of $34,120.
Council members in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15K is summary ordinance number 13,290, an ordinance ratifying the emergency replacement of the Ashbrook Belt Press Drive roller by GSM Engineered Fabrics LLC in the amount of $12,480 for the Department of Wastewater.
Got a motion by Councilmember Wilmot, second by Councilmember Dunn. Any comments? Council members in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15L is summary ordinance number 13,291, an ordinance approving a NICE Gold Package Renewal Service Agreement with Motorola Solutions in the amount of $19,830 for the Kenner Police Department.
Got a motion by Councilmember Brennan, second by Councilmember Wilmot. Councilmember McKinney.
Is the nice silver package, Chief, is that cheaper, or, I mean, should we, is there a difference between the nice platinum package?
No, we like to go gold. So.
Well,
No,
you should
just-
have got platinum, yeah.
Platinum, well, we don't want to go push the envelope. But this basically, Motorola controls all the communication systems for the police department, from the 911 dispatch to every officer carries a Motorola radio, and this is a service agreement for 24/7 265 days a year. I believe it handles some of the fire department responses also. So I appreciate your support, but we'll try to go silver next time.
Council members in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15M is summary ordinance number 13,292. An ordinance authorizing acceptance of a private donation for the purchase of a new exhibit from High Project Group Incorporated, a sole source provider for the Rivertown Science Center.
Got a motion by Councilmember Dunn, second by Councilmember Wilmot. Any comments?
Yes, George.
Mayor.
This is an anonymous donation that comes in annually. I've asked for the name. They don't want to be recognized, and actually gives more than just the $7,500 in additional donations to our Rivertown museums.
That's awesome.
That's it.
Thank you, Mayor Glazer. Council members in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15N is summary ordinance number 13,293. An ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Monarch Trophy Studio to supply sports awards in accordance with letter bid number 23-2079 in the amount of $20,728.05 for the Department of Parks and Recreation.
Have a motion by Councilmember McKinney, second by Councilmember Wilmot. Any comments? Council members in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15O is summary ordinance number 13,294. An ordinance authorizing the utilization of existing state contract number 4400019740 with the Han Company to purchase office furniture and other related items through Louisiana Office Products on an as-needed basis not to exceed $75,000 annually for the Department of Finance.
You have a motion by Councilmember Wilmot, second by Councilmember Lahat. Any comments? Councilmember Brennan.
Thank you, Council Chair. Just for clarification, Madam Clerk, and Council, this is not the same company that has other contracts for the equipment and such, just for the general public that may not see the spelling of this, that it is a different company. Just FYI.
Any other comments? Councilmember McKinney.
Yes, thank you, Council President. I just wanted to find out what the previous contract's amount for this contract and how much was spent.
Previously, we had a contract for $75,000, and we spent about $8,000. It expired back in January, and it was the same situation. We had piggybacked the state's contract.
Thank you.
So, Ms. Herron, y'all are tired of sitting on boxes and stuff like that?
I would like to add, it's not just for the finance department. We manage the contract, but it's citywide use.
Okay. Council members in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15P is summary ordinance number 13,295. An ordinance authorizing the lease purchase agreement with PNC Equipment Finance LLC for one Pierce Enforcer heavy-duty rescue pumper for the Kenner Fire Department.
Have a motion by Councilmember Shorewalt, second by Councilmember Brennan. Any comments? Council members in favor, say aye.
Mr. Chairman.
Opposed, say nay.
Someone, someone's here.
Yeah.
You said, just wait, stay right there, queue, you'll be able to comment.
No,
You wanna go yet?
we didn't vote yet.
No, you want to comment on this one, sir, or the
Yeah,
next
oh,
one?
you commented on this piece?
Yeah. My name
Please state your name and your address.
Nicholas
You have 3
Landry,
minutes.
72410 Magnolia, 4.5-year firefighter with Kenner on this rescue truck. And just to give clarification to y'all and the general public, I know it does seem like a lot for this truck, but it's something we've worked pretty hard on. The truck we have right now, we're gonna have to wait 3 years if this truck does get approved, and hopefully it does. Something we put a lot of man hours into, as well as everybody up top. And being that the truck that we have now is just not as viable, and hopefully it lasts 3 more years, but this is something that we need. We've had the brakes go on this truck more than I can count on 2 hands. And just generally in rescue, for a Class 1 department, this is gonna be something that makes us a lot better. but we do really need this. And if y'all do have any questions, anybody in the public, please reach out to us. Like I said, my name is Nicholas Langell. I'm on B Platoon, and if y'all have any questions, please reach out as well. Like I said, I know it seems like a lot, but this is a specialty truck, and it does run a lot of man hours. It runs a lot of hours on itself, and the amount of times we use this, it's up there with a lot of big departments like New Orleans, New York, Boston, you name it. So I do hope that this is something that can be found to go through. Thank y'all.
Councilmember McKinney?
Yes, and I just want to clarify with Liz, the supporting documentation has multiple interest rates and terms, so I just want to clarify what the payback term and interest rate is going to be.
Yes, so the city is going to do the 5-year payback option. It makes our payment $265,822.07, which is at a 5.17% interest rate.
Great, thank you, appreciate it.
Mayor Glazer?
Yes, and the fire department went and put this together several months ago, and recently came to me stating that the company called and said there was either one engine, one pump, one something left. If we don't get it, it's going to go up 150,000, was it? Something like that.
That's
So
150.
yeah, so if we don't get this one, the next one's going to be 150,000 more. So that was it.
And I talked to the chief, and this unit, we're paying for it over 5 years. That increase of the cost is a little bit less than what the interest paid on the 5-year note is. So we're in a good situation there. Plus, this unit has a 20 to 25 year shelf life. So it's something that I feel we need to do. Chief.
Yes, to expound on what Mayor Glazer was speaking of, with the change in standards for diesel emission engines, they changed the engines on, the standard, and you've been hearing about it the last couple of months in the news, and that's what happened with this truck. That if we didn't pull the trigger on purchasing this truck at this moment, the exact same truck, we'd have had to put the newer engine in, and it would have cost us an additional $150,000 to go with that different engine. So this was one of the last engine that they had, that Pierce had, that they could sell to us and not be a victim of the increase in the emissions of the new engine.
Councilmember Wilmot?
Yeah, Chief, this replaces a pumper?
No, this is a rescue unit. It's a heavy-duty rescue unit. It replaces a rescue unit, and as the firefighter told you, firefighter Nicholas told you, that the current rescue unit we have is relatively old, and it's been breaking regularly. We spend thousands of dollars just keeping it rolling, as with some of the other old equipment on the street.
What are we going to do with the old one?
It's going to go into reserve status where we use it as a backup, and it wouldn't be frontline anymore.
Okay. Thank you.
Councilmember Sharworth?
Yeah, Chief, it's a good truck, It's a little bit big. Yeah, surprised, okay. It's updating our fleet. It really is updating our fleet. I'm concerned with the size of the truck getting in Station 379.
We've had that come.
May want to think about putting it at 38 and putting the pumper at 379. Might be, because when you build a new fire station, we won't have to back it into 379. So just consideration, because this truck is larger,
It is.
and you are going to have trouble getting it in Station 379. Okay.
Right, and with the growth of the department and the changes, there'll be a lot of changes made, and as we talked about the past week when we met with you, with the council individually, that's part of the progressive changes that we're looking to make overall in the department with the new stations, new apparatus, new equipment, better training, better salaries for these guys.
Correct, and it's a good truck, it's a good upgrade
Right.
for the city.
Any other comments? Council members in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15Q is summary ordinance number 13,296, an ordinance approving a purchase of one heavy-duty rescue pumper from Siddons Martin Emergency Group LLC in accordance with Louisiana LAMAS contract number 4400017741 for the City of Kenner Fire Department.
Got a motion by Councilmember Shorewald, second by Councilmember Brannigan. Any comments? Council members in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15R is summary ordinance number 13,298, an ordinance ratifying the proposal for casualty package insurance for the period of July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024.
Got a motion by Councilmember Brannigan, second by Councilmember Brennan.
Mr. Chairman, we've received a request from the legal department to amend this item. If I could read the amendment into the record right now. The third whereas will read, whereas the proposals for casualty package insurance for the period of July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024 could not be obtained by the June 16, 2023 council meeting. And the next whereas will read, whereas the current casualty package insurance expires before the next council meeting on July 6, 2023. The sections will read as follows. Section 1 will read that the mayor may ratify a casualty package insurance for the period of July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024. Section 2 will read that the mayor is instructed to send the ratified casualty package insurance to the clerk of council. Section 3 will read that this authorization expires on July 6th, 2023. If I could get a motion and a second on the amendment as the clerk has read into the record.
You have a motion by Councilman Brannigan, second by Councilman Brennan on the amendment. Council members in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0 on the amendment.
Back to the legislation. Got council members in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15S is summary ordinance number 13,299, an ordinance ratifying the proposal for excess workers' compensation insurance for the period of July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024.
Got a motion by Councilmember Wilmot, second by Councilmember Brannigan.
Mr. Chairman, if I could, I've received the same amendment for this legislation. If I could read it into the record real quick. The third whereas will read the proposals for excess worker compensation insurance for the period of July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024 could not be obtained by the June 16, 2023 council meeting. And whereas the current excess workers compensation insurance expires before the next council meeting on July 6, 2023. Section 1 will read that the mayor may ratify an excess workers' compensation insurance for the period of July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024. Section 2 will read that the mayor is instructed to send the ratified excess workers' compensation insurance to the clerk of council. Section 3, that this authorization expires on July 6, 2023. I just need a motion and a second on the amendment.
Got a motion by Councilmember Wilmot, second by Councilmember Brannigan on the amendment. Council members in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0.
On the original legislation, council members in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay.
Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 16 is ordinances and resolutions in summary for first reading. Item 16A is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from All Star Electric Incorporated to provide emergency repair of traffic signal systems post-disaster on an as-needed basis in accordance with seal bid number 23-6769 in an amount not to exceed $500,000 annually for the Department of Field Services. Item 16B is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Risk Tree Service, LLC, to provide emergency tree work post-disaster on an as-needed basis in accordance with seal bid number 23-6770 in an amount not to exceed $300,000 annually for the Department of Field Services. Item 16C is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Compliance Enviro Systems LLC to provide emergency cleaning and flushing of subsurface drain lines and drainage structures post-disaster on an as-needed basis in accordance with sealed bid number 23-6774 in an amount not to exceed $200,000 annually for the Department of Field Services. Item 16D is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Ace Garage Door Company LLC to furnish and install one overhead rolling steel service door at the Punch Train Convention and Civic Center, 4545 Williams Boulevard, Kenner, Louisiana, in accordance with sealed bid 23-6734 in the amount of $15,444 for the Department of General Services. Item 16E is an ordinance approving amendment number 4 to the agreement with Dom Development Corporation for miscellaneous carpentry work, labor only, increasing the agreement amount by $100,000 for a new not-to-exceed amount of $500,000 for the Department of General Services. Item 16F is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Dom Development Corporation to provide carpentry services, labor only, in accordance with sealed bid number 23-6773 and an amount not to exceed $200,000 annually for the Department of General Services. Item 16G is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Phi Alpha Contract Solutions to furnish 4 20-foot storage containers in accordance with letter bid number 23-2078 in the amount of $11,456 for the Department of Public Works. Item 16H is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Bayou State to supply lighting and electrical supplies for Rivertown in accordance with sealed bid number 23-6775 in the amount of $32,633.89 for the Department of Public Works. Item 16I is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Carlo Ditta LLC to supply ready-mix concrete as needed in accordance with sealed bid number 23-6768 and an amount not to exceed $75,000 annually for the Department of Field Services. Item 16J is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Check-O-Matic Incorporated to supply printed envelopes as needed citywide in accordance with letter bid number 23-2077 in the amount of $30,000 annually for the Department of Finance. Item 16K is an ordinance approving an agreement with Capital City Press LLC for the 2023-2024 recruiting campaign and an amount not to exceed $120,000 for the Kenner Police Department. Item 16L is an ordinance amending ordinance number 10,878 to adjust the amount dedicated to subdivision signs. Item 16M is an ordinance repealing resolution number B17293 adopted October 6, 2022, and implementing requirements for the approval of the settlement of lawsuits against the City of Kenner. Item 17 is reports from the council and our special committees.
I have a couple things I want to say. Commercial cleanup, we had some problems on Chateau and West Esplanade with the CVS property. They have cleaned it up. Also, there were some trees that were growing from the bottom, some stems coming out, and the city went and took care of those. The Regents Bank building had a lot of grass that was all messed up. I called Denise at the Kalis Company on Tuesday, and on Wednesday they were out there cutting the grass. The problem there was we had a situation where the new grass cutter did not know that he was supposed to cut the Kalis property. Recreation Department, I want to thank our Director Charles Alon and his assistant Ryan moving the Recreation Department in the right direction. There's been many social media posts to criticize how we're doing things. Baseball's in full swing, using green lawn for the 7, 8, and 9, 10-year-olds. 11, 12 boys are at Bertolino, and I know Councilmember McKinney's son is playing there. Also, the T-ball is underway at Woodlake. Softball is finished. The championship games this week and used the Mount Carmel field at Bertolino. I want to thank the crews that get these fields in shape, and I have to say they look great, and really happy that y'all have them looking the way they do. In addition, beach volleyball started this week, and I received some complaints about not being able to handle the 13 plus, age groups, and Coconut Beach has a league for 13-year-olds plus for beach volleyball. It's a huge success. I think they've been having 80 to 90 kids a day at Coconut Beach from 7 years old to 12 years old. I want to thank Jose Gonzalez and Bill Duplashire for getting, in Public Works, for getting a couple holes taken care of. One was on Joe Yenny, where the road goes from 4 to 2, and the crater was getting big. I was afraid that my Yukon was going to go into this hole, but they got it done in like 2 days. Being a president has been awesome. I want to thank my council members and the administration for the past 6 months. Everything seemed to run smooth. It's an honor to be the president. Of course, we couldn't do it without our incredible council clerk and assistant, Natalie and Teresa. The knowledge and wisdom that they bring to the table is amazing. Thank you. Also, my assistant Jessica for putting this agenda together and making sure I have a track to run on so we don't miss a beat, and try to get out here as early as possible for Mayor Glazer. I know that the new president's going to do a great job. Councilmember Brennan is coming in next. And the most important thing on what I have to say today is it's Gomaha. The LSU Tigers are there for the 19th time. We have 6 national championships, and we want to get number 7. There are 3 SEC teams there, LSU, Florida, and Tennessee, and I hope that the Ole Miss fans are pulling for the Tigers. I pulled for the Rebels last year, as I pulled for all SEC teams when you're not playing my Tigers. The SEC has won, and I know I'm sounding like Al Morella with these facts, but the SEC has won 14 of the last 31 national championships. That's what you call dominance. Thank you. Council Clerk?
Yes, sir.
Oh.
Item 18 is new business. We have none. Item 19 is unfinished business and/or motions to reconsider or remove from a tabled position. We have none. Item 20 is persons wishing to address the council on special subject matters.
I got Mr. Al Morella.
Al Morella, 4260 East Loyola Drive, 5th District, 51 years. I want to reiterate what former Councilwoman Maria DeFrances had to say at the last council meeting about the horrific murder that took place in our city on Georgetown. I appeal to the District Attorney, Paul Connick, to seek the death penalty for the perpetrator in this case when he's convicted. Okay, now I want to talk about Washington Elementary School. And an interesting article I read in the Advocate, and I want to share this with the entire population in the city of Kenner. Okay? The idea, the concept was conceived in 1860 to set up a school, a learning institution for the predominantly African-American community. Okay? It was conceived, but in 1930, okay, the community went before the Jefferson Parish School Board, and the school board agreed to authorize a school, but not fund any purchase of any land and not fund any construction. So it was John and Margaret Clancy who donated that property to that community to build that school. The funding came from the people in the community who had bake sales, who had suppers. They raised the money on their own without any help from any government agency at all to build that school. And to demolish it now would be a terrible injustice. So I agree with the people who support having it put on the National Register of Historic Places, not to have it meet the wrecking ball. And this affects all of Kenner. It don't matter where it is in Kenner. Anything that happens anywhere in this city affects all of us. And that's a travesty. The school board was incompetent in 1930, and they're incompetent to this very day. And they're the largest system in the state. Now, a little bit of history real quick. On the 14th, this past Wednesday, 1777, the Continental Congress adopted the design of the original flag date. In 1954, President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed the measure, inserting the phrase, under God. into our Pledge of Allegiance. Now, in closing, the total revenues for the patron fees that go into that door, that go into those doors at the treasure chest, is $1.5 million. $250 a head. Who goes in them? Who goes in there? And if they leave and they come back, it's $250 again. So now it's $1.5 million. Anybody got it? Oh, and one more thing. Told I was cut off because I was accused of being off point by Councilman Brannon. I don't like the idea of businesses operating under contract with this city, driving around in vehicles with no identification on the side of them.
Mr.
Now,
Morrell,
I've talked to the man
Mr.
at
Morrell,
H&O.
Your 3 minutes is up.
It's up? Okay. 3 more, next meeting we'll continue right where we left off, man. Time's on my side.
Council President?
Yes?
Yes. I would like to say to Mr. Morello, I agree that the school should not be torn down. That's right. And it's in my district, and I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that it does not be torn down. Now, where it's going to go, I have no idea. But that's one thing that we will be fighting for, keeping that school intact. I appreciate that.
Mr. Art Tadella? Please state your name. You have 3 minutes.
My name is Arthur Tadella. I reside at 1609 Hudson Street, Kenner, Louisiana. Since 1975, I've raised 3 boys in that house. I was a combat Marine in Vietnam, 65, 66. I was awarded 2 Purple Hearts for my combat wounds. At nowhere in Vietnam was there any Marines south of Da Nang and Chu Lai. We operated in 65, 66 from Da Nang and Chu Lai to the DMZ. I stand here before you and state the facts. Last month, Mr. Morello stated there were 400 Marines on Hill 937, that are known as Hamburger Hill. Nowhere in Marine Corps history was the Marines south of Da Nang or south of Chu Lai. I stand here correcting him because it was the 101st Airborne Division that was at the base of that hill. You see, the reason why I know, because in the Army, you wear patches on your uniforms. And the Marines haven't worn patches on their uniforms since World War I and World War II. That was the last time they wore patches, designated. I feel he owes the 101st an apology, and the Marines, because we were never there. Trust me, I state the facts as I see them. And I state the facts from knowledge of Marine Corps history. Thank you so much for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Tadella. Mr. Brian Miller? Mr. Richard Brown?
I'll pass, other than to congratulate Michelle and Fred on the new city attorney.
That's the last speaker. Have a motion by Councilmember Brannigan, second by Councilmember Wilmot to adjourn.